So there are dozens of guides how to install the VNC server on a Ubuntu system, but the main problem is that the VNC server doesn't start up after a boot. And in this video we're gonna try to fix the problem, and in our case it's Ubuntu 16.04. And first of all we need to install the desktop environment packages for the VNC we'll be using for the remote connections. Okay, I've already installed this packages, and now we're going to install the tight VNC server. And to complete the initial setup of the VNC server after installation, we should use the VNC server command to set a secure password and create the initial configuration files. So we'll be prompted to enter and confirm a password for remote access to the system. And after confirming the password, you can create a password for viewing only. So users logged in with a view only password won't be able to control the VNC server instance using a mouse or keyboard. This is a useful feature if you need to demonstrate something using the VNC server, but it's not necessary. So I press no. Okay. Now we're gonna configure the VNC server itself. And the VNC server must know what commands to execute at startup. In particular, VNC needs to know which graphical desktop to connect to. So these commands are located in a startup configuration file in a .vnc folder in a home directory. Okay, it's here. The startup script was created when we were starting the VNC server in a previous step. However, we will create our own script to start the GNOME desktop. So when VNC is initially configured, a default server instance is started on port 5901. This port is called the display port, and it's considered by VNC as a column 1. So you can create a multiple instances of VNC on other display ports, including column 2, column 3, and so on. So since we are changing the configuration of the VNC server, first we need to stop the VNC server instance running on port 5901 using the command VNC server kill column 1. But as a matter of fact, the result should display the PID number of the process. Again, if I start the service, so we have here 7 PID here, and we're gonna kill 7. So the result should look like this. Although you will see a different PID number. Okay. Before modifying the X-Startup file, we should back up the source file. Okay. Now let's create a new X-Startup file, and I'm going to open it in a Nano text editor. So commands from this file are automatically executed when starting or restarting the VNC server. The VNC server should start our desktop environment if it's not already running. So I'm gonna add the following commands to the file. In order for the VNC server to use the new startup file, we need to make it executable, of course. Okay, now we're going to test our connection. VNC server, and we're going to connect the password, and that's okay. This is our remote connection using a VNC client to the server. Now I'm going to close this for now. So next we'll configure the VNC server as a system service that we can start, stop, or restart like any other service, and it will also ensure that VNC starts when you reboot your server. So I'm going to create a new file. Here, named VNC server at .servers. Okay, and a symbol at will allow us to pass an argument that we can use to configure the service. So we will use it to specify the VNC display port that we want to use when managing the service. Okay. Oh, sorry. So this is our unit file for systemd target. Let's copy that and paste this. So be sure to change the values for the user, group, working directory, and the username parameters to the PID file values corresponding to a username. Well, and the exec start pre command stops the VNC server if it's already running. The exec start command starts the VNC and sets 24-bit color depth with a resolution 1280 on 800. you can change the startup options as needed. So to inform the system about the new file, we should reload our systemd daemons and unit files. I'm gonna copy that. Then we're gonna enable the service itself. Oh. Well, the number 1 after @ symbol indicates on which display the server should appear. In this case, this is default value 1, column 1. So let's kill this servers actually. But you should know that we have display port 8, not 1. You see? It can't find the file here. So I'm gonna use 8. And if I would try to start the servers here, I'm gonna start it. And check the connection once again. Yeah, it should work here. So now I'm going to reboot my system to check if the VNC server starts up after rebooting my machine. Okay, let's do this. Sudo reboot. And I'm gonna check the connection, remote connection once again. You see, it's enable connect to socket, connection refused. So we need to check what happens. Let's start it once again, and this our service failed because the control process exited with the error code. Alright, let's check the journal CDL for the details. Here it should indicate the problem. The problem is it can't find this file. Ubuntu column 1 PID. Okay, I'm gonna check if we have this file or not. VNC. I have a lot of them about, but we don't have Ubuntu column .1 PID. Well, to fix the problem, so let's configure the script which will create the file Ubuntu column 1.pid in our directory here. So I'm going to create the script. but here we should indicate Ubuntu column1.pid, and let's make the script executable. Okay, and then we should refer to the script in etc cron tab at the bottom of this file. Okay. So I'm going to change the user here. Okay, here. Let's save this file. So on every system reboot, that script will create the file Ubuntu column1.pid in our working directory here. So now we're gonna check the connection after reboot. So I'm gonna reboot my machine. Let's check our directory here to see if the file was created. Alright, we have Ubuntu column1.pid file. It's created automatically by our script that was indicated in etc cron tab file. And now we're going to check the remote connection. So here we go. It's working. So our remote connection using the VNC server is operational and fully working. It's okay now. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope it will help you to configure your own VNC server on Ubuntu machines.